And you can see that
Wait, say
different
that again?
structures. Oh,
Sorry.
this one's 7 months, 5 months, and 1 month, right, old. Right, and you can see how as gestation occurs, like as the baby grows, right, the embryo, you can see different regions, right, kind of conform. We have different conformational changes within the female reproductive system, right. One of the most prominent structures we know in the center, right, is the what? It is the uterus, right? This is the uterus. That's where we have the baby formed, right? Inside the uterus, right? On these sides, you see right here, what is the structure? These are the ovaries. These are the ovaries, right? Right. And you guys, oh, sorry, I'm like pointing. Yeah, sorry. So the ovaries are located here, right? So you can see how the ovaries, the location of the ovaries kind of changes as we have the baby developing, right? Right, see that? It's all the way down here now. Okay? So it moves a ton. So the ovary makes what? Eggs or ovum, right? It makes an ovum, and once it makes the ovum, right, it spits it out towards these finger-like projections. Right? Sorry. Before the fallopian tubes, they have these structures right here that look like a hand, right? Finger-like structures. These finger-like structures are called the fimbriae. Fimbriae, right? And the fimbriae are actually not physically touching the ovaries, so they're kind of like almost touching, but not actually quite touching. So the ovaries will spit out an ovum, and the fimbriae will kind of catch it, will kind of help it to grab it and lead it inside to this tube, which is the what? The fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is also known as the salpinx, right? Or the uterine tube. Yeah, uterine tube, fallopian tube, or the salpinx. Right. Good. All right. The region within the fallopian tube, before it enters the uterus, right? Right. There's a region just before the fallopian tube enters the uterus. We call that the isthmus. That's on the second page for most of you guys. ISTHMUS, isthmus. It's the fallopian tube right before it hits the uterus. Right. And this center region is then the uterus. Okay. There's a couple ligaments you do have to know for this region. And then it's pretty easy. I don't think it's not too bad. See this? Well, if you look down here, there's like a huge, broad-looking ligament, right? It's called the broad ligament because it's broad, right? So this huge ligament right here, right? The broad ligament, right? The broad ligament connects the fallopian tubes to the uterus. Okay? The broad ligament connects the fallopian tubes to the uterus. All right. So, I don't know if you see it. So here, we'll see an additional ligament right here. Right? There's a yellow ligament. You guys kind of see it? Can you guys see it? This ligament right here. Can you see it? Make sure you guys all see it. Right. This ligament right here, attaching the ovaries to the uterus, it's called the ovarian ligament. The ovarian ligament connects the ovaries to the uterus. And remember, the ovarian ligament is one of the things that comes from the gubernaculum, right? So it comes from the gubernaculum. So make sure you kind of note that down. All right. Fimbria, we talked about. All right. The mesovarium and the mesosalpinx denotes the different regions of the broad ligament, right? So the portion of the broad ligament, so actually this ligament actually kind of, it's a huge ligament that covers stuff as well. So some of the portion will actually cover some of the ovaries, right? The portion of the broad ligament that covers the ovaries is called the ovarian ligament, or the mesoovarian. Sorry guys, Mesothelium is the part of the broad ligament that covers the ovaries. Okay. Mesothelium, part of the broad ligament that covers the ovaries. All right. Mesosalpinx. Mesosalpinx is a portion of the broad ligament that covers the uterine tube, so the fallopian tube, to the ovaries. So back here. See how there's like a pencil mark back here? Can you guys see that? Pencil mark? Can you see that? Pencil mark. See it? Pencil mark. Alright. A pencil mark. Alright, make sure you guys kind of see it. That's the mesosalpinx. Okay. Salpinx, remember, it means fallopian tube. Okay. Mesosalpinx. Alright. Fimbria. Alright, we're almost done. Alright, so this one's kind of good. So right here, so before we enter the uterus, right, see this donut-shaped structure? Right? This donut-shaped structure is called the cervix. Right? This structure right here is the cervix. So make sure you know how to identify the cervix. Right? In the cervix, if you look at it, there's like a small hole. Right? And then a lot of times what people do is that to see if, whether the baby is, whether the mother had a baby before or not, to tell that they could kind of look at the cervix, right? If they never had a baby before, this hole in the cervix will be like a dot, right? But if they actually had a baby before, that dot is actually turns into a slit. So the cervical canal, what eventually heads up into the uterus, is shaped differently. Right? So that cervical canal is the canal connecting the cervix to the uterus. Right? And then this region below the cervix is what? Right here, right? Oh, cervical canal is, okay, this is the cervix, right? Cervical canal is right here. Okay. But right here, right? Not the urethra.
Vagina.
The vagina. The vajayjay. Right here. Okay. It's right here. Okay. Vagina.
Is that from Grey's Anatomy?
Huh? From Grey's Anatomy? Oh. Yeah.
I was asking if that's what it's from.
Is it from Grey's Anatomy?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Childhood?
Oh, sorry. All right.
Was there a kid?
Oh, yeah. Did you guys
Thought-
say vajayjay when you were
Yeah, I
a
did.
kid? Yeah, right. All right. The rest of the structures. I have a female. Okay, there you go. It's sort of here. Let me just use this one. So right here. Right. So, right. See this? This is the uterus, right? This is different shapes, right? This is different cut in the human body, right? Right here is the what? Is this, right? This right here is the uterus, right? And that's actually above the bladder. Yeah. So make sure you don't say this is the uterus and this is the bladder. This is the uterus and this is the bladder. Okay? Maybe because it's always pushed down. Oh, I didn't know that, but that makes sense. Yeah, interesting. Right. So the baby develops in here, right? That would make this hole right here, this donut-shaped thing right here, below, before it goes in. This is the cervix, right? Making this right here, the cervical canal, right? And making this hole the what? The vagina, right? This is the vagina, right? The opening, actual small opening to the vagina is called the vaginal orifice. Oh, okay. Or the vaginal vestibular. Okay. And then we also have the urethral orifice, and that's for what? That's pretty much your pee hole, right? For females, right? Your urethral orifice. Right? And again, this tube, see this tube? Coming from the bladder, right, to the rest of the world, that's the urethra. Okay, this is the urethra, this is the vagina, cervical canal. Okay, this is the bladder, this is the uterus. Okay. I think this is a good model too, so I would take a picture of this particular model too. Okay, so it has many things that we could touch. So we even see like the fimbriae, the fallopian tube, the ovaries. You can see everything here. So this is a pretty good model. All right. All right. So we have two lips. The females have two lips, right? The inner lip is called what? The labia minora, right? Labia minora, so it's this one right here, right? Labia minora. And then the labia majora is the outer lip. Okay? Labia majora, right? And then the labia majora generally has hair, and that's for protection issues. Okay? All right. So this right here, this structure right here, what is this structure? Clitoris, right? It's a clitoris. Right. Right. The clitoris is located here. Okay. The clitoris also has a erectile tissue, and it's similar to the males, the corpus cavernosum, but we call it the corpora cavernosa clitoridis. It's a mouthful. Corpora cavernosa clitoris. Clitoris. Okay? And that's the clitoris. All right. All right. You guys know what this blue region is right here? This might be the pelvic bone. The bone, remember we have everything here, right? We have all the bones, because we usually look at them by itself, but they're always like on top of each other and stuff like that. Remember that? So they kind of, together they look something like this. So this is a good model, so make sure you take this picture before you go. All right. Actually, what I'm going to do today, for the quiz,